How great is that movie? I had a feeling you would like it. My name is Dave Karger. I am the chief correspondent at Fandango. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight and to introduce 5 members of the cast of Southpaw. Please join me in welcoming first Miguel Gomez. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. If you ask me, the MVP of this film, Una Lawrence. Rachel McAdams. And of course, Billy Hope himself, Jake Gyllenhaal. Congratulations to all 5 of you on this film, and we should also say Naomi Harris and Antoine Fuqua and everyone, Kurt Sutter who wrote it, and everyone who's not here tonight who was part of this great ensemble and great crew. Jake, I want to know, when you first saw on a big screen, maybe you were looping or you saw the finished product, when you saw yourself, did you look like you thought you would look once you went through this entire process?
I felt so good about
Or were you surprised at how you looked?
We were just somewhere, and I pretended like I was 50, so it's only appropriate that he pretends like he's me.
I love it.
You know, Antoine loves actors, and so he shared with me a lot of the things that they were shooting, and he shared with me a lot of the process, and he took me in while we were shooting the movie, so I had the opportunity to sort of see the character and how he saw the character, and then we honed in on the character over time. So when I saw the final version of the film, and I saw a subsequent version before that, but when I saw the final version and really what Antoine was trying to say through Billy and all the work that, you know, John, our editor, had done, and how Morrow lit him and all that, I mean, I consider a character the work of not just the actor, but of all the departments around the actor. When I saw that, I couldn't be. I was really proud of everything everyone did. I mean, I would hide in the shadows a lot of the time, and Morrow would always get upset with me because I would always try and find the shadows. But somehow, you know, it's strange. You know, you spend so much time with everybody, and you're also intimate, and you're doing this thing, and then it becomes something else. So it's a little uncomfortable, but I like it.
We had a conversation today for my Fandango show, and you told me something interesting, which was very much about how working your shoulders was imperative to being convincing as a fighter. Can you tell the audience what you were talking to me about?
Well, like, popping your shoulders is sort of a thing that I feel like fighters do all the time, because punches don't come from your arms, you know. They come from the other parts of your legs and from your core. So essentially, the extension of your arm has to be, so I can't do it in this suit. My suit's too tight.
It was better when you had your shirt on earlier today.
But Antoine, when I first met with Antoine, he said, are you ready to do this? I really want you to know how to fight, and I'm going to be shooting it like an HBO Showtime fight, and the fights are going to be real. So, I want you to start popping your shoulders. And he starts popping his shoulders at dinner. And I was like, okay, that was when I knew I had my work cut out for me. And about 3 months into the process, something loosened up and my shoulders started to pop, and I was like, oh my God. It was like this transformation was beginning. And yeah, that was where I started to feel like I could actually throw a punch.
Rachel, we're in a strange predicament right now because we're in a room full of people who have just seen the entire film, and yet this is being filmed for people who are going to watch it who have not seen the movie. So we have to be a little bit delicate here. But what happens to your character is very shocking. But I'm curious to know, for you, were you pitched what happens, what the storyline of your character was, or did you get the script and were paging through it and learned what happens to her?
Yeah, I just read it and was just as shocked in my living room. So yeah, it was. I wasn't told anything about it, which is the way I prefer it. You know, you want to just take the ride. Yeah, but it was a big challenge.
What excited you the most about the relationship between your two characters? Well, really, all three of you.
Yeah, was it his chest? His chest muscle was his back
Get to
muscles.
The chest was exciting. I mean, I just loved the commitment they had to each other, and like growing up together, and it was a weirdly codependent relationship, but kind of in the best way, and yeah, I just loved the fierceness of their love, and they're incredibly passionate. I think they kind of get off on the boxing. I think there's something still really primal and hot about that, and that's kind of weird. But at the same time, I think Maureen's kind of grown up a little bit, and Billy's kind of a little kid still at times, even though they really look out for each other. So I don't know, there's so many interesting dynamics to play out. There was really no end to the moments we could mine out. It was really rich.
Miguel, did you keep a distance, given the dynamic between your character and Jake's? Did you keep a distance from him on the set, or did you guys hang out and become friends?
I think it was important for us to really get to know each other and trust each other and sort of find that respect and love for each other, to be able to, in those scenes, to be able to go all out and not hold back, and really feel the anger and the emotions. And we went to some really dark places, and I think only with the trust, we were able to do that in the safe space that Antoine, created for us. And before every take would say, protect each other, and that meant a lot to both of us. And we knew that sometimes, accidents would happen, when fatigue sets in and the anger sets in.
Yeah, they start punching each other.
And Jake hits pretty hard. Jake, Jake can throw a punch. He can pop them shoulders.
Curtis, from your point of view, you actually do some work with boxing promotion with some of your businesses. What was important for you to get right about the boxing industry, and what could have easily gone wrong?
Well, it's really important for me to be honest about the sport, and be a part of it. And this project definitely did that. Like, I don't think people realize how much work it was for Jake in this project, because it was like, prepare yourself for it and then spend 8-hour days, a little longer sometimes, training through the day. And they go, okay, cut, camera rolling, action, and cut. Okay, let's go again. Let's go again. And each time he got to give it 100%. So it's like, and once you've trained yourself to land a punch, it's a hell of a adjustment to miss. Yeah. And so when he was talking about when they got fatigued and he started punching on them and shit, I was like, this is a different kind of job.
Yeah, we would learn all the choreography, and as soon as you get punched in the face, that sort of goes out the window, right? You just got to survive by that point.
Right. Una, I think I speak for everybody in this room when I say you absolutely blew me away in this movie. I'd like to know how, at 12 years old, you were probably 11 when you made this, how do you put yourself in the mindset of someone like Layla, who's been through all of this hardship, all of this trauma? How were you able to do that?
I mean, it was hard at some points, but I think just having Rachel and Jake's support throughout it, and them just being themselves and being the parents, I think I immediately fell into that role. And yeah, and just like really long sessions with Antoine and stuff, that helped a lot. And he gave me more information on Layla.
More information.
Now, Una, listen. Jake has been starting to dabble a little bit in theater acting. He's been on Broadway. You have a Tony Award. We should tell people a special Tony from your work in Matilda. Do you want to give him any advice on this new theatrical career that he's been doing?
I think.
Wow, it takes an audience to really finally give it me. I asked for advice every single day, and she was like, I'm busy working. And I just talked to her like, now finally she's in front of actors. Go, yeah, I'd love to know now.
Yeah. I think just try to remember your lines and stuff. That helps, yeah.
Jake, you're welcome. Rachel, can you talk about what kind of rehearsal time you had? This, as I understand it, was I think a 40-day shoot. Did you have much rehearsal time before that?
Yeah, we did, which is rare nowadays. So Antoine was really, adamant about carving that out, which I was so grateful for. And the three of us got lots of time to hang out, to in a relaxed way, to ease our way into it. We got a lot of time to talk about our backstory. We went to a facility together where we kind of imagined Billy and Maureen had maybe met, or the type of facility they would have grown up in. And then we got to not box each other, but I'd watch you and you'd watch me, and mostly I was watching you, but.
Yeah, say that louder.
I just said I was watching her more than she was watching me. Probably, she's easy on the eyes, so you kind of want to watch her,
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, she watched me a lot. She watched me a lot.
In the ring, right.
Yeah, so we kind of had like this little mini movie before we started the movie, which felt very real, and we didn't have to do a lot of pretending by the time we got there.
When I saw the movie a couple weeks ago, the opening credits were going, and I saw music composed by James Horner, and he had passed away the day before the screening that I saw, and it was very touching at that time, and I paid extra special attention to his music, and I thought it was really powerful. Can you guys talk about what you think his work adds to the film?
I'll say that sometimes I listen to scores, as a motivation, emotionally, moving into a scene. And one of the scores that I use often and have, and that moves me so much, is score for Searching for Bobby Fischer, and many of his scores. I think in this score in particular, there are even some hints of it, and every time I hear that, like pieces of his history, it moves me so much. Like, he had an extraordinary career. I actually have never met him, but I feel like I know him from his music, and it was an honor when I heard from Antoine that he was going to score this movie, and he did it for really no money, and he did it out of his love for Antoine and their relationship, and also for his belief in this movie, and I think you can feel that. And I just, whenever we lose anybody too early, I'm just heartbroken that we won't be able to hear more of all of his beautiful melodies, But it's an honor that this was one of the last things that he worked on, and an honor that he's given us all that he gave us while he was here.
Absolutely. We have a lot of great questions from you all that you wrote on these cards. So this is a question from Holly. Hi, Holly, wherever you are. Holly wants to know from you, Jake. Obviously, there were physical challenges in preparing for your role and performing it, but what were the mental challenges that you encountered?
every day I encounter mental challenges. It's a constant. But I think I grew up very differently from this character. Sometimes when I see a character on the page and I'm entranced by him, maybe her at some point. But when I'm entranced by the character, I sometimes see it as how far distance it is away from me, and sometimes that's exciting, and most of the times that's scary, depending on how far and out of focus it may seem. I think that the challenges for this were developing, learning about his backstory. It's sort of flippant in how he's like an orphan, but for me, that's not flippant. For me, the history of what that means and how that would affect him and how that would, generate his feelings in every single situation was something that I'm very far from. I have 2 parents that I know and grew up with, so that was for me. That was challenging for me, and also really fulfilling. And I think once Rachel and I started to figure out the relationship between these 2 people, ultimately just made that relationship so strong. Like she said, almost codependent, but I think so strong. So those challenges, and that was the biggest one, was just a backstory that I had to search for.
Here's a question for you, Curtis and Miguel. This is from Audrey. What drew you to your roles? What about this screenplay spoke to you and convinced you to say yes to the project?
I needed to do something. I needed something to do.
It was Jake and it was Anton Fuqua and their dedication to sort of tell this story and the incredible father-daughter relationship. I'm a father. I have a daughter, and I think this story and the message in this film was important to be out there.
Now, this was exciting for me, to be honest with you. It was the missing piece to the things that I've done prior to this. Like, I had a chance to work with Al Pacino and De Niro on Righteous Kill, and Jake is like the new version of them.
I like that.
I like to do that. I intentionally put pressure on him. You see, he looked like, why you had to do that, man?
All right, I'm going to end with a question for Una. So Una, it's the summer. There's all these big movies coming out. They're all sequels. They're all comic books. They're all superheroes. Why do you think and why do you hope that people will go out and see Southpaw this summer?
I think they will go out and see it because it's a combination of, it's a story about boxing, but it's also a story about love and sacrifice, which is awesome. It has everything in it. And I think, seriously, I just think that it's like it's for everybody in a way. I mean, it might be really scary at times, but in the end, it's just about love, and I think that's great.
I want to thank you all for being here and thank you for this incredible film. Congratulations. Have a great night.